Jaleel White has remained silent for many years. No interviews, no statements, no sharing of anything. But at the age of 48, he's finally ready to speak up. What he reveals about Malcolm-Jamal Warner's final words will surely shock you. Is there a hidden message in the final moments of his life? Why did Jaleel wait so long to open up? The truth he unveils is far stronger and more painful than anyone could have imagined. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will completely change the way you view Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Surely you've heard about the loss of Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Do you think his final words will change the way we see him? Leave a 1 if you feel the depth in those words, or a 0 if you think differently. Enjoy the video and don't forget to leave a sub to support us. Malcolm-Jamal Warner was not just Theo Huxtable from The Cosby Show. He was a cultural icon, a symbol of hope for an entire generation, and a quiet force in the entertainment world. His sudden and tragic death at the age of 54 left fans devastated, colleagues stunned, and Hollywood faced with a big question: what really happened in his final moments? Now, a close friend, someone who knew Malcolm beyond the camera lens, is ready to break the silence. Jaleel White, known to millions as Steve Urkel, shocked the world when he revealed previously unknown details. But it's not just the sadness. It's the guilt, the secrets never before revealed, and Malcolm-Jamal Warner's final words that are now coming to light. In this video, we'll uncover the emotional revelations from Jaleel White, the deep bond between him and Malcolm, the strange silence he kept for so many years, and the meaning behind Warner's whispers before he passed. You won't believe who was there at that moment and why Jaleel says he will never forgive himself. Stick around, because things are about to get more intriguing than ever. Their secret brotherhood, the true bond between Jaleel and Malcolm. Despite never having starred in a sitcom together, Jaleel White and Malcolm-Jamal Warner built a unique friendship not from scripts, but from shared survival experiences. Both rose to fame in the late 80s and early 90s. Jaleel was Steve Urkel on Family Matters, while Malcolm was Theo on The Cosby Show. Behind the scenes, they were often compared being the beloved black teen idols of their generation. But what the public didn't know is that these two young men built a quiet friendship, a bond forged from understanding the pressures of representing millions of black viewers. Jaleel shared that they often stayed up late talking, especially during moments when fame became more of a burden than a blessing. Malcolm understood the silence, the isolation. Jaleel said his voice choked with emotion. He was one of the few who truly understood that. We weren't just famous. We were expected to be role models from the age of 14. This wasn't a loud, glamorous friendship. They weren't spotted together on red carpets or starring in sitcoms. Instead, their relationship was built through private calls, support during career downturns, and quiet words of encouragement in times of sorrow. Jaleel recalls that Malcolm always checked in even during the toughest times, like when he struggled to find serious roles after family issues. He said, "We never intended to be Urkel and Theo forever, but we had to keep standing strong." That line haunts me to this day, Jaleel shared. But what makes this friendship even more tragic is that despite being so close, Jaleel never got to say goodbye. And that's when the real pain began to surface. But wait until you hear what Malcolm said about Jaleel just weeks before he passed. Those words will haunt you. In his final days, the inner struggles of Malcolm slowly began to be revealed. While fans celebrated Malcolm-Jamal Warner's continuous artistic evolution, his poetry, jazz performances, and acclaimed acting, few knew the silent, emotional burden he carried in his final days. According to close friends and insiders, Malcolm quietly battled what one source described as a storm of mental and emotional exhaustion. Although there were no official reports about Malcolm's mental or physical health prior to his sudden passing, Jaleel White hinted that Malcolm had recently opened up about the creative isolation and invisible pressures he felt. It wasn't about fame anymore, Jaleel shared. It was about legacy. But whose story would be told? Jaleel recalled, his eyes welling up as he spoke about one of their last phone conversations. Jaleel's voice was heavy, as if he was searching for peace, but didn't know where to find it. What makes this story even more eerie is that just 3 weeks before his tragic drowning, Malcolm shared a mysterious message during a speech. He spoke about leaving footprints on water, not just on sand. The words, now understood by some as a subtle farewell, carry a haunting weight. Those closest to him also noticed how he became more reclusive, less visible, and spent lavishly. He always said that water brought peace to his soul, but it's heartbreaking to think it also took him away from us. However, no one could have predicted what would happen next. The drowning wasn't just a shock, it was something far more profound. It tore through Hollywood like a lightning strike. A whole generation was left in shock. But at this point, things become even more heartbreaking. Just hours before his death, Malcolm left a voicemail for someone completely unexpected. And what he said will send a chill down your spine. The voicemail left Jal devastated. He knew it was a farewell. As news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's death spread, Jaleel White went completely silent on social media. Fans immediately noticed his absence. While others were posting tributes, he vanished. No words, no tweets, no interviews. And now we know why. According to a close source, the actor was deeply heartbroken not only because he lost a soulmate, but also because of the final message Malcolm sent him just hours before the tragedy occurred. Jaleel later shared the content of that message during a private memorial. It wasn't a typical goodbye. It was poetic, haunting, and almost prophetic in its unsettling way. In the note, Malcolm wrote, "Jay, this world moves fast and loud, but in the silence, that's where we find truth. If I don't make it to tomorrow, know that the ocean has given me peace. Don't cry for me, my friend. Carry me in your work." Jal is said to have played the recording privately for a few loved ones. One listener recalled, "You could hear the finality in his voice. He didn't say goodbye, but he said it all. It was as if he knew the end was near." Even more chilling, Jal didn't listen to the message until after the news had been made public. He admitted in a later interview, "At first, I didn't even see it. It sat quietly in my notifications. When I played it, I dropped the phone." Since then, fans have flooded social media requesting the release of that note, but Jaleel said he intended to keep it private until now. However, this voicemail has sparked much speculation. Was Malcolm suffering in silence? Was this an intentional farewell? These questions remain unanswered. But one thing is certain, this message changed Jaleel forever. And what he did next left Hollywood in silence. Jaleel White's emotional tribute wasn't just about Malcolm. When Jaleel finally broke his silence, he didn't post a typical tribute. He didn't post a photo on Twitter or share a nostalgic clip from their early career days. Instead, he stood alone on stage lighting candles at a private memorial held in Los Angeles. With red-rimmed eyes, a trembling voice, and his hands holding Malcolm-Jamal Warner's favorite black fedora, it wasn't a press event. It was deeply personal. This is a deeply emotional and silent moment where Jaleel White chose to honor Malcolm-Jamal Warner in his own way. What do you think about this simple and heartfelt gesture? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you won't miss more surprising and emotional videos. No cameras allowed, no live streams, just pain and truth. In that painful, fragile moment, Jaleel shared something that froze the room. His tribute began with a whisper. "This isn't just about Malcolm. This is about what we all ignore." He paused, visibly trembling, then continued. "We were young black men in Hollywood, boxed into roles pressured to be perfect. Malcolm wasn't just Theo. I wasn't just Urkel. But we were taught to smile, deliver our lines, and be grateful. We were never allowed to break down. Not in public, not even when we were together." The audience was stunned. "Malcolm would often call me late at night just to talk, just to breathe. We never talked about money, we never talked about roles, just about peace." He was searching for it. And now I understand he knew he might never find it here. Those present recall how Jaleel's voice broke as he looked at the empty chair beside him, the chair reserved for Malcolm. He once told me, "Jay, if one day I disappear, promise me you'll tell everyone that I'm not angry, just tired." And at the time, I didn't understand, but now I do. People cried. It wasn't just a eulogy. It was a confession, a reckoning, a cry for help from every black artist who had been boxed into a character they outgrew decades ago, but were never allowed to escape. Jal didn't just speak for Malcolm, but for himself, for every childhood star who carried the weight of a world they never asked to bear. He ended the memorial by placing the fedora on the empty chair, bowing his head and whispering, "You were more than Theo, Malcolm. You were my brother, and I won't let them forget who you really were." That moment spread like wildfire, even though filming wasn't allowed. Someone inside recorded the audio, and it was leaked within hours, sending Twitter and TikTok into a whirlwind of shock and reflection. A comment went viral on social media. That wasn't a tribute. It was a torch being passed. And indeed, something shifted in that moment. The entertainment world could no longer turn a blind eye. And just when everyone thought the truth had been fully revealed, another secret came to light. A secret that Malcolm had kept hidden even from his closest friends, including a private journal that he left behind. Secrets no one knew until now. After the heartbreaking news of Malcolm-Jamal Warner's untimely death, his family quietly began sorting through his belongings. Among the music-old scripts and photos stored in a worn leather bag, there was something they never expected to find: a thick, tattered journal handwritten raw and unedited. It wasn't just a journal of thoughts. It was a window into the soul of a man the public never truly knew. In one of the first entries written in 2017, Malcolm wrote, "I feel like I'm screaming underwater, smiling at everyone on the surface while I'm slowly running out of air." Those words send a chill down the reader's spine. This wasn't just about pain. It was about isolation, a suffocating silence that he had drowned in for years. He spoke about fame, not with excitement, but with exhaustion. "This industry fed me, but never truly loved me. I'm not Theo anymore. I haven't been Theo for decades, but to the world, I'll never be anyone else." The journal revealed that Malcolm had deeply struggled with identity and invisibility, especially as he transitioned into adulthood. He felt that no matter how many achievements he reached, whether it was Grammy nominations, a powerful spoken word album, or directing work, he was always introduced as Theo from The Cosby Show. In another entry, he wrote, "When I walk into a room, people don't see me, they see nostalgia, a memory of themselves as children watching TV." Not the person I am now, not the person I've struggled to become. But perhaps the most heartbreaking part came near the end of the journal, just months before his death. On a page almost soaked with tears, he confessed, "There are days I imagine the feeling of disappearing, not in a dark way, just no longer having to explain myself, finally being seen without being stared at." He also spoke about deep issues of trust, writing that he only had 3 real friends in the world, and the rest smiled at his light while secretly hoping his battery would run out. Even more shocking, Malcolm shared that he had started seeing a therapist and had written a list of things he had never been able to say on screen, stories and scripts he was secretly working on. He wanted to create a series exploring mental health in Black men inspired by his own life. "I want to show people that the healing process is complicated, that strength does not equate to silence, that love isn't always met with applause." The journal ends abruptly. No goodbyes, no farewells. Just a brief, hurried line written at the bottom of the last page. "If this ends, promise me someone will read these lines and eventually meet me." That promise is now being fulfilled by his family and close friends. Plans are underway to publish excerpts from the journal, and discussions have begun about adapting some parts of it into a documentary or a limited series so the world can see the full story of Malcolm, not just the part where he played Theo. It's a heartbreaking reminder that sometimes the loudest laughter comes from the quietest pain, and even those we think we understand most may be carrying burdens they've never spoken about. But perhaps the most painful truth hasn't been revealed yet. Something hidden in plain sight, recorded in Malcolm's final social media posts. Mysterious yet clear when you read between the lines. The final goodbye. Honoring Malcolm-Jamal Warner's legacy goes beyond the headlines. As the dust settles and the tributes fade, what remains is a silence as loud as the man himself. The world didn't just lose a TV icon or a beloved childhood character. We lost a complex, intelligent soul who fought to reconcile past fame with present pain. From his beloved days as Theo Huxtable to his passionate spoken word performances and emotive music, Malcolm-Jamal Warner left a mark on every creative space he touched. But behind the glamorous exterior and the smile on the red carpet, he carried a depth of emotion and vulnerability that very few truly understood. His passing not only sparked sorrow, but also prompted reflection on how society treats child stars, how fame often becomes a prison, and how silence can be the loudest cry for help. As fans, we remember the laughter, the lessons, and the love. As humans, we must also remember the real person behind the character. The poet, the father, the son, the healer of broken hearts, yearning to be seen beyond the screen. The journal he left behind will soon become a beacon for others. A raw, unfiltered lighthouse showing that struggles with mental health are real even in those who seem the strongest. And the legacy he never completed lives on within us. The fans, the friends, those who finally listened. In his own words, "If I'm to be remembered, don't think about the shows I was a part of. think about the truths I finally dared to speak. Rest in peace, Malcolm-Jamal Warner. You accomplished so much more than Theo ever could. Finally, Jaleel White has revealed the words we never expected about Malcolm-Jamal Warner. Those final words not only change the way we view him, but also leave a lasting legacy. What do you think about these words? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you won't miss more emotional and surprising stories from us. See you in the next video.